Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us once again. So in the past, we've talked about immigrant youth and we talked about DACA and the different benefits. And today we are joined by Diana Lucero, myself.
And I'm Edgar Aguilar. Thank you.
And we have Luis Perez right here, who is the director of the legal department at the Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights. He was also the first undocumented student to attend and graduate from UCLA Law School.
We actually have another guest. Her name is Bethzy Garcia, a Department of Justice representative. And as a matter of fact, she was one of the first legal fellows at CHIRLA. She's been there since the beginning. That is August 15th, 2012. And as a matter of fact, she actually helped one of the first recipients of DACA in the whole nation. So that's really, really impressive. And as of right now, I think your record is
a little over 3,000.
Over 3,000 applications.
Yeah. So those numbers are amazing. Those are drastic. You're helping folks every day. Can you brag a little bit about the work that you do? We've already heard about our organizers and the amazing work that we do, and now we want to hear about the legal department at CHIRLA.
Well, yes, thank you for having us, and we're glad to be here and share a little bit more about the legal services. Because as we know, CHIRLA does so many things, but legal services is one of the ways how we not only give back to the community, but how we defend our communities in this time where we feel that we're being attacked as immigrants. So the legal services we know is one of the best ways to protect people, but also to improve their lives. And I think DACA is just one of the many programs we do. And we've been doing DACA as that was our first project. We started the legal department 6 years ago, mainly as a DACA clinic, because we wanted to not only be part of the work to create DACA, to bring DACA into existence, but also to help people apply for the program. And we've seen people that we helped in 2012 with DACA, then we helped them with advanced parole, then we helped them with their residency, and then with their citizenship. So it's been 6 years where we've had the chance to help people go from DACA to the different steps until citizenship. So we were able to do every single part of it because our department in legal services has expanded not just to DACA, but not to do citizenship, to do family petitions. And just this year, we started a new unit to help people in detention. So people that are getting picked up by ICE, sent to the immigration detention center. We have attorneys now going to visit them and get them out of detention and help them with their immigration case.
That's phenomenal. So Bethzy, I'm very intrigued by what you do. So when you started with CHIRLA, did you have an idea of the impact that you were going to have with these people?
I did not. I wasn't even thinking what it was. I was hired on August 14, the day before, and we just had a training the day before. The next day, we were doing applications for DACA, and we just learned as we grew, and now we're experts.
How many members of your team do you guys have?
So when we started the legal services department, it was 4 of us, and now we have about 11 or 12 attorneys, and we're in total 32 people working in the legal department.
That's amazing. Yeah. So you guys have a really robust team at CHIRLA.
Right. So we hear all this talk about DACA, but can we have a discussion of what DACA is for those folks out there that might not know what it is?
Okay, so DACA is Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. It was introduced in 2012 by then President Obama. It's an executive action, so this means that this program can be ended at any point, which happened last year in September 5th, 2017. When the current administration decided to terminate the program.
Yeah, so 2 things important about just the name in itself. People know it as DACA, but it's Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. The first part, Deferred Action, means that people continue to be undocumented, but this becomes almost an agreement with the government that there won't be any action taken against them. Deferred Action, meaning it's an agreement that we're not going to deport you. In addition to that, we're going to give you a work permit during the duration of that Deferred Action status. And then there's a lot of other benefits that come with it. So we encourage people to continue to apply for it that are able to. Like Bethzy said, that this president tried to end the program in September 5th of last year, but and then only gave us a month, right, from September 5th to October 5th to reapply for those that qualified. So many people weren't able to meet that 1 month deadline. So in January of this year, a federal judge in San Francisco gave an injunction requiring USCIS to continue to accept renewals. So that was the first of many injunctions that require USCIS to do that. And but it's only limited to people who already had DACA at one point or another. So people who never had DACA are not able to join it for the first time. and also took away the ability for people with DACA to travel with advanced parole. So right now, only those who have had DACA are able to renew, but is limited to just a work permit and protection from deportation, but they're not able to travel or ask for a travel document the way they were able to do it before.
So what does DACA do for folks?
So at CHIRLA, you help them throughout the process from DACA to citizenship.
Yes.
So
And beyond.
And beyond.
Because citizenship, that's where things end with the legal department. But then we have civic engagement who helps them register to vote and then get them out to vote, right? So we do the services, but then there's other departments that take the next step and make sure that they become active citizens of this country.
So let's go a little bit back. How does someone who's renewing their, like, what are the requirements for DACA? How can someone go to CHIRLA and request your assistance?
Yeah, so I'll ask Bethzy to give the general requirements for DACA, but again, if you never had DACA in the past, it's too late. You're not able to apply. But just for reference, these are the requirements for somebody who would qualify for DACA.
Oh.
So the requirements for DACA are: one, you need to have come to the country before you were 16 years old. So that means if you came to the US when you were 17 or 18, you won't be able to apply for DACA. And the second requirement is to show that you have been in the country since before June 15, 2007. That was 5 years before the announcement. The third requirement is to show continuous presence. That means to show that you have been living in the US from 2007 until the date that you submit your DACA application. And the two last ones, one of them is to show that you were here on the day of the announcement, which was June 15, 2012. Okay. And the last one, you need to show that you are going to high school, or you have a high school diploma or a GED.
Yeah, so a lot of people actually confuse DACA with the DREAM Act, which are two very different things, right? DACA is a temporary permit to work and be safe from protection. That's not the DREAM Act. CHIRLA continues to fight for the DREAM Act because that would actually be legislation that would put people on a path to citizenship. But that needs to be done through Congress and then signed by the president. We're still pushing. We've been pushing for many years, and we're going to continue to push for that because that's going to be the only permanent solution for these young people that were brought here as children and are now wanting to make a living and they're unable to, right? So one of the requirements for DACA was that you needed to be at least 15 in order to apply. So there was people that qualified, but they were 13, 14. They were waiting to turn 15 before they could submit their application. Unfortunately, those are a lot of the people that were left out of the program when the president announced the rescission of the DACA. When he ended the program, a lot of people were waiting for their 15th birthday to apply. Those people were left out of the program, and they're not able to benefit from it, unfortunately. So the most vulnerable, the youngest of these immigrants, were actually the most affected by the president ending DACA. He did put it on Congress to come up with a solution. Congress failed to meet the deadline that the president gave them. But the president hasn't done much to push for the DREAM Act to pass, right? So it's almost like he got rid of a really good benefit that we had under DACA. And then they failed us in passing something permanent. So the courts had to step in and keep things in place for these people who really needed this program. They've experienced what it's like to have a work permit, to live outside of the shadows, and the courts really thought, this is not the way to end such an important program. We're gonna keep the program in place, at least for those that already have it, until the court cases are decided, with the final decision, which could take a year or two. We still don't know. But there's lawsuits in California, New York, and Washington, D.C., and Texas. But as of now, DACA is safe for people who already have it. They're able to renew until decisions are made and at the final stages of those court cases.
So those are fantastic news.
So you had mentioned that only folks that currently have it can renew. Does CHIRLA provide that service? Do they help folks reapply for the program? And if so, when, how, where? Like, what do you mean?
Yes, we at CHIRLA are helping people to renew their DACAs. We are helping them to do DACA renewals for free. And we're also helping you to pay for the $495, which is the USCIS fee. So if you come to CHIRLA, you're going to save about $1,000.
Well, hold on. Can you repeat that one more time?
Yes.
CHIRLA's doing it for free?
Yes. we're helping people to renew their DACAs for free, and we're also helping you to pay for the $495.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how do they access to these services?
At CHIRLA, we don't give appointments at this moment, but we're helping with DACA renewals every Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. The only thing that they need to go is show up to our main office, which is on Alvarado and 3rd. If you go to our website, www.chirla.org, you'll find more information about DACA renewals. Okay, so you have to be there a little before 8 a.m. Make sure that you take your work permit, your ID, your social, 2 passport pictures, and a copy of your previous application.
To go back, you mentioned how you help folks when they were first applying for DACA, then they applied for their residency, and now they're citizens. Can we talk a little bit about that process of becoming a citizen?
Well, yeah, citizenship, again, it's one of our main core programs in the legal department, in part because we believe that that's the most that a person can dream to become, right? A U.S. citizen. And the thing about citizenship, that is one of the most permanent things, right? DACA, we know, is a temporary program. The president trying to end it. It's on life support because of the courts. But at one point, we think that it's going to come to an end. Legal permanent status, even though it's permanent in there, it's vulnerable. It's subject to attack. Some people are losing that status. And it's not until you become a citizen that you're truly permanently a U.S. citizen, and no one can take that away from you. Of course, there's been no news about people that committed fraud and they're going after them to take away their citizenship. But for the most part, people who become citizens, who are law-abiding citizens, should have no worries about losing their citizenship, because that's the most they can dream of having, the status, and it's very difficult for anybody to take that away from you.
Yeah, I'm gonna take your word for it, because I'm actually a legal permanent resident here in the U.S. and I've been putting it to the side, but I definitely have to get on it. Like you said, it's not, even though it has the word permanent in it, it is subject to attack. So
well, look, what we're gonna do is give you the requirements so that you can take note and then know what to do in order to come get our services. Now, citizenship is a service that we do for free, but people, if they need to pay, they do need to pay out of pocket. We don't have funding to pay for that. But a lot of the people that apply for citizenship, especially at CHIRLA, are people who qualify for the fee waiver. So a lot of them end up not having to pay anything. But what are the requirements, Bethzy, for citizenship?
So the requirements for citizenship is to be a legal permanent resident for at least 5 years.
Okay.
And be at least 18 years old. So I guess you might be...
So far, so good.
Okay. You also need to show that you have been residing in California for at least 3 months.
Got that.
3 months. And then you need to show that you know basic English.
Okay.
You need to pass a history and civics test.
Okay.
We'll do some questions at the end. And pretty much that's it, right? And one of the most important things is that you need to show that you're a person of good moral character. That means not having felonies or not having committed fraud, things like that.
Can people who have perhaps not felonies, but a driving ticket or a misdemeanor in California, something of that sort, would that affect their application?
Well, it can, and that's why we don't want to give broad information here. But everybody, even if you've had some criminal record of any kind, before deciding I'm not going to do it because of that, you should really talk to an attorney who can look at your personal file and really make a decision based on your own facts, right? Because there's people who committed mistakes, but maybe it's not something that would prevent you from being eligible for citizenship. So before you think I'm not eligible, an attorney should help you decide that.
Why are you telling folks to become citizens after they mark their 5-year?
Like I said when we started this program, our immigrant community is under attack, and becoming a citizen is one of the best ways to protect yourself from anything that happens, right? Once you become a citizen, not only you protect yourself, but then you're able to protect your family, petition family members who may not otherwise be eligible to be in the U.S. legally. So that's for us the best we can help people, the most benefit we can give them. That's like the ultimate goal. Right, but there's obviously political power, there's civic engagement that are part of CHIRLA's mission. So we not only want to make people citizens, but we actually want them to become active citizens and engage. And that's where our other departments come in and do that part.
Mm-hmm. That is wonderful. So all of these things that you guys offer to the community that you mentioned, they're either free or at really, really low cost. How do you guys survive? How do you guys do it?
Well, there's a combination of ways. Especially for DACA, I do want to say that it's been a lot of contributions. So people who donate, anybody can donate at CHIRLA.org, donate. A lot of people donate and a lot of people become members, and those membership fees, those donations helped us to start the CHIRLA Trust Fund. And it was through this CHIRLA Trust Fund that we were able to start paying for the USCIS fees so that people do it now, right? In the past, people used to wait about 3 months before their DACA expired to apply.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Nowadays, we're telling you if your DACA is going to expire within a year, you should do it now. We also did that for citizenship. We fundraised and we were able to have a short campaign back in last year, December of last year, where we were able to fundraise enough money to help people pay for their USCIS fees as well. But the more donations we have, the more membership we have, the more we're able to do some of that work of helping people with their fees.
What are some reasons that people tell you that they don't want to become citizens?
Well, they don't tell us because those are the people that are not coming to CHIRLA. Right? The people coming to CHIRLA is people who maybe they were legal permanent residents for 10, 20, 30 years. And until now, they're deciding, hey, I think it's time for me to become a citizen for whatever reason it is. We're a nonprofit. We're a 501c3 nonprofit. So we don't get into the politics of what party preference you have. We're here to help anybody from with any political background become citizens. So we really don't care your reasons. We're here to help you if you are ready and eligible to become a U.S. citizen.
Can people that don't speak the language become citizens?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So actually, we have a lot of people who they don't want to apply yet to become U.S. citizens because they're afraid that they're not going to be able to pass the English test. So there are a few exceptions. One of them is if you are at least 50 years old and you have been a legal resident permanent for at least 20 years, then you can do the test in your language. So that means that you will be able to answer the questions to the civic and history test in, let's say, Spanish.
Okay.
Yeah. There are two other ones, which is at least 55 years old and 15 years as a resident. Or if you're over 65 years old, then you don't have to take the test in English, and you will only be required to learn 10 questions.
Huh. How many questions are there then?
100.
100?
Yes. 100 questions.
So most people do need to study about 100 questions. Out of those 100 questions, they're going to be asked 10 questions. But if you're over 65, there's a way for you to only have to study 10 questions so that it's a lot easier for you to get them right? And I believe you need to get
6 right.
6 out of the 10. 6 out of the 10 questions you need to get right in order to pass the civics exam.
All right.
And there is also a medical exception for people who have any conditions which prevents them from learning or memorizing things. So if you are one of those, you can apply for the medical exemption.
So there's a lot of tools that people can use, a lot of support that CHIRLA is doing. There is no excuse. You got to do it.
We're going to start with you.
Oh.
Can you give us an example of the type of questions that might be on this test?
We have some samples. So let's see if you're ready.
Okay.
Let's see. What's the name of the President of the United States?
I believe his name is Donald Trump.
No, Donald
J. Trump?
J.
That's one of the options.
I need to add the J?
Yes.
Yes.
What do we call the first 10 amendments of the Constitution?
The Bill of Rights?
Yeah, you got it right. And then what are the two parts of the U.S. Congress?
Congress, that one?
Yeah.
And the Senate?
There you go.
Yeah?
Yeah, you got
All right.
it.
Another way to enter that is the House of Representatives and the Senate.
Okay.
That's the
all right. I'll keep that in
You
mind.
already got two? Who wrote the Declaration of Independence?
Oh, I know that one. Thomas Jefferson.
There you go.
There you go. You only got 97 more questions to go.
Yeah.
So again, we just want to invite people to both, if they're in the LA area, to come to CHIRLA, to call CHIRLA, or go to our website at www.chirla.org to find out more about our legal services. and then come to our offices if they're able to, and we might be able to help them. Like Edgar said, most of our services are free. Sometimes people need to pay out of pocket, but that's money that goes to the government. Most of our services are done for free, so there's a benefit to that. But if you're not in the area, you can still call CHIRLA's 1-800 number, and our information specialist might be able to connect you to a nonprofit that's near where you live in your state or in your county, so that you can look for a nonprofit similar to CHIRLA to help you with that process.
So for people at home, when should they come to CHIRLA? You mentioned Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays?
Saturdays,
Okay,
yes.
Before 8 a.m.
Before 8 a.m. Yeah.
Yes, especially for DACA, there's a high demand for DACA. People are lining up really early. So Bethzy said, come before 8. We open our doors at 8 o'clock and we help the first 20 people in line. We really don't control how early people start getting there to be in the first 20. But we always try to do our effort to take as many people as possible, but we do only guarantee service to the first 20 people in line.
Right. Thank you so much both for joining us today. You heard it, folks. You heard it here. If you can renew, please go out and renew. You can take advantage of CHIRLA and their services. They are paying the $495. If you have another nonprofit you can go to, please renew so that we can show the government how important it is to maintain this DACA program and to continue advancing with the immigrant movement. Again, thank you for joining us, and I hope to see you next time.